encouraging that like I needed to hold on before I realized what I needed to realize, so that I could get to the point where we're pulling together and make it through to the other side.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why she was like, so you're the horse, and I was like, I've never been called a horse before in my life. I'm gonna take it. I take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
It is because in the movie they were best friends.
They were best friends, and they were able to get so much done. Yeah.
Yep. And we'll just call it the force of sorrow. And just like your dad said, that if you feed the darkness, or if you feed the negativity, because darkness isn't always negative, but if you feed the negativity, the heavier you become, and you start leaning into the negative ways of your thinking. You start becoming trapped in your own mind.
I know this so strongly.
Reaching out to you, pulling you. That helps you lean into them because they're pulling some of your weight, and it makes it easier for you to go the route that needs to be taken. And I got choked up before because what you have, I needed that. I needed that when I was going through my first bout of depression, when I was actually your age, when I was 17. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. And a lot of men feel that way. A lot of black men feel as though that they don't have anyone to talk to, because what we're talking about isn't something that is taught, encouraged, or even broadcasted the way that it needs to be.
Nowhere.
But we are definitely dealing with a lot of generational curses physically, because that trauma has been passed down. And when trauma starts at the top, if that person doesn't know how to deal with that trauma, it just trickles down with bad and toxic behaviors. And then it just keeps going on. So I honestly want to commend you to, like, straight up, because what you're doing is groundbreaking and shaking. That I've never seen a father say that he's going to therapy with his son, and I've never seen a son lean into his father the way that you have, going through what you have gone through and are still going through. But it looks like you want to say something.
Me? Yeah, it was. I looking back, I don't think there's anything I would change, honestly, because it put me in the position. Because, so yeah, so like in the years leading up to that major year of depression and isolation, I was literally talking to myself out loud around the house, like, man, my life is really way too good. I feel like there's going to be this huge thing that's going to happen to me. And God, I'm not sure what that thing is, but I'm mentally prepared. I remember having that conversation out loud with God. And I also remember saying, man, it's so difficult to teach people how to get out of situations when I've never really been in any situations, because I have such a short life, and I only have all this information that I've really been told, but I know it's true, but I can't relate this to anybody to get this message across, because I haven't had to use it, like, really.
Right.
How do I overcome strong trials and tribulations? I don't really have trials and tribulations. I just thank God for all the times that I've been alive, and
This man really told me he thought we was rich at one point.
At one point.
And I was like, based on what? Like, what did you? I was like, who?
Because we were able to go to restaurants and man.
You are rich. You might not be rich in the things that are seen as materialistic.
Right, for sure.
Rich in spirit.
Yeah.
And
that's what carries you forward. I want to go to the comments, because comments were blowing up for a little bit when we were diving into it.
Come on with it.
And they have a lot of good things to say, and especially about you, KJ. We have Sin. She says that I'm proud of you, young man, for overcoming and turning it into positivity for yourself and others. Continue to flourish and grow. We are behind you 1,000%. Um, we have Derek Dawson. He says, "Praise anyhow." Um, and then also he continues to say, "Yes, bro. Fighting the depression battle is an accomplishment. I've been taught to handle it just like John explained. This is an awesome talk." And also we have some other people saying, "Thanks for sharing." So one of the things that you don't know that you did, actually both of you did, Kenny, you probably know, maybe KJ, you probably don't, but you probably both do. You were staying present in the moment of whatever you were feeling. You weren't running away from it. You weren't avoiding it. You were present. You weren't using anything as a distraction, as a distraction or any type of deterrent. You were feeling what you were going through, and that gave you this experience. So even though you say I haven't been around a lot or I've been around that long, this and that, just your spirit alone is motivation for somebody that is going through something either similar or completely different because of your perspective. If you provide a different perspective and outlook, that is experience. And you might not have anything to compare it to. Well, this time I was like this, but not. It's like this is just it's you being authentic.
And now I'm at the point where I can speak on depression. I guess now, if I never went through it, I had to be put in a situation where I would authentically go through it, learn them lessons, apply the lessons,
right?
Use the lessons to get out of it. Different person, same person on the other side. I mean, I'm essentially the same person, but I'm using my knowledge differently on the other side, and I think that just really just stacked my potential energy, for what I'm able to do in this world. I wouldn't change a thing.
And this is what we call growing into your own man. And that's exactly what you're doing. So just like you said, you wouldn't change anything. Don't change nothing about yourself. Follow your truth. And just like how they say it'll set you free, it really will. Because you won't be burdened by the expectations and things of other people. And your father is a great example of that. So making sure you're listening to him, following him, and I know that you two have a good enough relationship where you're able to correct each other's steps to an extent. So keep that, and it's gonna take y'all far. Even though I know that y'all know that, it's gonna take y'all far for sure.
I appreciate that.
But back to other things.
Yes, sir.
Emotional stuff. But,
Woo, we made it. So I want to thank y'all for that segment. The next segment I want to go through is the red flag special. So I talk about red flags because, I think over the last few months, it was like, oh, it's a red flag if he makes you pay for your own dinner, for example, something like that.
Yeah. Listen, got you.
So there are different topics that pop up where people call red flags or just cause some type of hysteria. So funny that I have y'all on the show. It was last week. There was a picture of a little boy in front of a kitchen set, a kitchen toy set.
Oh.
And it caused a huge hysteria. People were like, oh, this is forcing him to be this, but he's not. So I want y'all to answer that for me. What do you think about that? Even though this happened last week, I'm still curious to see what y'all think about that.
A little boy in front of a toy kitchen set?
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is good for him having a toy kitchen set. I love those growing up. I mean, man,
I already knew what he was gonna say.
Man, bro,
Listen.
we would take any two objects, put it together. That's a sandwich.
This man don't care. He will play with anything. Like,
It was amazing.
He just stopped playing with toy. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but he just stopped not too long.
Not really. Actually just yesterday I was just playing with toys with my little brother Kai and Owen.
You tripping because I just had a battle before I went on this show.
For real, actually. Like Nolan, bro, I had my toy dinosaur and Kai had his toy Iron Man, and I bet you can't do this. Did a backflip, and then he does his double backflip, and I'm like,
But honestly, so KJ's situation, and this was another part of that other story without going too far. But so my oldest two, so my he's the oldest, and then my daughter Keziah. They people thought they were twins at different points. They were just always super tight. And so it just was kind of like, what are we gonna play today? Like, it didn't matter. Sometimes he was in the lead, sometimes she was in the lead. If she wanted to play dolls or whatever, like they just was like, okay, whatever. And then like for me, I don't know, like I've just never been like the hyper masculine, this is manly and this is feminine, and like it's extreme, you know what I mean? Like, and if we're gonna be 1,000, some of the best chefs in the world, they're guys,
dudes,
they're men. Hey, like it or not, whatever. They got to get in the kitchen at some point, and they got to, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
when I started getting in the kitchen as a teenager, it was those were some fun memories. Me and my friends just getting in there. We had no idea what we were doing.
None.
We had been shunned out of the kitchen forever, and then finally now, we're growing young men, and we hungry. Who finna keep up with us in the kitchen and make sure we got something to eat? You better get in there and figure it out. So we got in there and we figured it out. And I was like, yo, I like being in here.
This is fun. So,
and I didn't feel like, oh, this is a woman's place type of thing. Like, man. And then now I got married. My wife at the time, she was big on cooking. Her view was more so she wanted to be the one in the kitchen. So out of respect to her, I got out of the way. And then so now after the divorce and whatnot, we got joint custody. The kids are with her. They come over to my house. Where the food at? And I'm like, y'all better eat some noodles? No, they want to eat. So look, so now
he got his
chef
coat,
Chef Boy Dub G. You feel me? Like you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. So to get back to the essence of it, like so much of it is just crazy. Same thing like with I was the one changing his diapers for majority of his early days, like because I was comfortable with it. I knew what to do. I think we have to put things in context and just say reality is a family has to be able to be a functioning unit, a team in the house. And if you are clueless about what it takes to manage a house, then you are not bringing everything you need to bring to the table, and vice versa, male or female. And if you, can you stop? Thank you. Come on and sit down, baby. We almost done. Our special guest.
Yeah. But no, like I totally agree with everything you're saying. That in the past it was different. It was a different dynamic between a man and a woman because of the economical environment or the economics that were involved.
The man had to go out and work and provide.
Versus the woman, it wasn't common for women to work, so she stayed home. But now, men and women, they make as much and women make more. So men have to fulfill a role that they weren't taught to fill.
Would you be comfortable being a stay-at-home husband?
Yeah, because I'm still gonna be working. There ain't no way I'm just gonna be just chilling at the house.
No, like I'm saying, like when I mean like domestic, she wants you, decorating and curtains and I don't know what that.
We're both doing that. Okay. There's no way I'm just gonna be at home. Money.
She wants you to go to Hobby Lobby and, you know what I'm saying? And
Okay, that's fine. And I want you to get these groceries too. So this is teamwork.
Yeah.
Teamwork
Yeah.
is teamwork. So even for myself, I don't want to stay at home wife.
Yeah.
Because I want you to indulge in the things that make you better.
Yeah.
I want you to grow and evolve just like me. So I don't want you to feel as though that you're only useful for my needs and the kids. Figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you want to work from home, cool. If you want to work, cool. But let's find a way to make it work together. So I don't mind cooking, washing, all this other stuff. But you're gonna be doing something too. You gotta. I'm not gonna be the only one that's just busting a sweat and changing these diapers. No, you do that. So you know, it's that before it was like these underlying assigned roles where a man does this and this is what a man does and this is what a woman does. But now, I think what's really changed with this generation, and I'll move on to the next thing. What I really think is what's changed, we haven't defined roles specifically in our relationships. We start a relationship based off of what we were taught, what we learned, and what we've seen, but we are using traits that we were given that have no value or real value in the world that we live in now. The mindset of a woman in Willie, say the 70s, would not last a day in 2020, 2021, because it's a different dynamic. Men as well. That's why you have toxic masculinity or all these other things. So, but I say all that to say is that it's two people that make a home.
Agreed.
Even though a wife is a multiplier, if you give her if you give her your seed, she makes a child. She brings life. If you give her food, she makes a meal. She makes dinner. If you give her a house, she makes it a home, a sanctuary. But these things cannot come into fruition unless the man is matching her, able to do exactly what she does. She'll do it differently. But if you can't bring that same energy, then...
And I think to me, that's the beauty of it. Like with me and my lady now, like we've never, I can honestly say we've never ever had an argument about that type of stuff. Like it's just been like, you feeling it, then do it. You feeling it, then you do it. Neither one of us feeling it. All right, I got you this time. You give me next time. Whatever. But like, there's such a freedom in just saying, I can be me. Like that's honestly our relationship is 100% based on that. It's just we can be ourselves. Like I love her to death because of that. And I didn't have that freedom, previously, right? And so that was a major part. But unlearning and relearning those things, like you said, these pre-assigned truths. I want to drop this, if I may, because I know you're going to move on to the next book. Something that I use as kind of a guide, and it's a old story that talks about a little girl who's in the kitchen watching her mother cook the holiday meal, and her mom is shaving off the edges of the ham. Right? You heard that one? You know what I'm talking about? All right, so she's shaving off. She's shaving it off, and she said, "Mama, why you cut off the edges of the ham like that?" And she said, "Well, that's how my mama. That's how Big Mama taught me how to do it. I don't know. That's just what she taught me." She said, "Oh, but she in the living room. Go ask her." So the little girl go in there and said, "Big Mama, how come we shaved the edges off the ham like that?" She said, "Baby, to be honest with you, I don't know. That's how my mama taught me how to do it. She out there on the porch in the rocking chair. Go ask her." So she go out there. And she's like,
grandmama,
Granny, I just gotta know, tell me, why do we shave the edges off the ham like that? And she said, "Well, baby, to be honest, I don't know why your mama and your grandmama do it, but I did it because when me and your great granddaddy got together, we only had one pot, and it was a small pot, and so we had to shave it." So there was a reason in that time, right? There was a reason in that season. But oftentimes we have adopted certain experiences and just continued them without actually stopping to evaluate, is this still significant to my life today? Is this still what I need to do?
That was a tradition based off of survival
Necessity.
and convenience, and they translated that into a family tradition. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's like asking those questions to figure out why this is of course one way to get through and break these bad habits, but at the same time,
or at least be able to decide, maybe I do want to keep doing it. But I know why. I know why. Versus this is just what we're supposed to do. It's like, no, man, you're supposed to do that. Don't do that. You know, But that's one thing that I feel that you are doing with your family. I feel like that's something, or not feel. I know that's something that you're doing with your family. I know that's something that I'm doing with my family. And I know that my circle, I know that's what they're doing with theirs and also themselves. So I do believe we are the next generation that has the true capability to break away from a lot of these generational curses that have plagued our community in ways that we no longer need. A lot of things turned into curses because they were means of survival. They were a means to last. And now we're able to flourish if we put our minds in the right place. If we use our skills that can create a way to monetize our futures, where we are a video editor, a photographer, a artist, a producer, credit consultant, public speaker, all these things, all these powers that are within us that can literally make us push these generational curses to the side. But what you're doing is definitely the start of it. So